If you are paying for Google Photos, or you are just tired of saving your photos on someone else's servers, there is a better and cheaper option. Because in this video, I will show you how to turn a $50 Raspberry Pi into your own private photo cloud using Immich. So you will get automatic photo backups from your smartphone, a very nice looking mobile app for Android and iPhone, local AI-powered search, face recognition, shared albums, and a web interface that feels remarkably similar to Google Photos. By the end of the video, you will have your own self-hosted photo cloud running on your own hardware. To get this up and running, you only need a bad boy like this, a Raspberry Pi, and optionally, you can get yourself SSD or HDD if you are planning to store big amount of photos. So enough talking, let's get started. I will start by installing an operating system on the Raspberry Pi. There is multiple options. The best and easiest one is by using the Raspberry Pi OS. They provide you with a tool that helps you install the operating system very easily. It's called Raspberry Pi Imager, and it is available for Windows, Mac OS, and Linux. So just select your operating system. I will go with Linux. If you are on Linux, you have to right-click on the downloaded file and go to Properties, scroll down, and then enable this option to execute this as a program. Now close it and double-click. Here you can select the model of your Raspberry Pi. I have a Raspberry Pi 4, so just select it and next. Now you have to select the version of the Raspberry Pi OS. If you are a starter, you can go with this one. It comes with a desktop environment, but if you are like me and you want to keep this light, just select Raspberry Pi OS Other and select the Raspberry Pi OS Lite. I like to use this one because I don't need any desktop environment for a server, so I will select it and next. Here you select the SD card you have connected to your PC. I only have this one and next. Now give your Raspberry Pi a host name. I will just call it Photos and next. Now do some localization and make sure to select the right keyboard layout. Now you can create a user. I will just go with Carl and make sure to create a secure password, not like mine. If you don't want to connect your Raspberry Pi using an Ethernet cable, you can also connect it to the Wi-Fi. I mean, if your Raspberry Pi supports Wi-Fi. Mine does, so I will just enter the SSID here. My Wi-Fi network is called Wi-Fi and the password. If you don't want to connect your Raspberry Pi to a monitor and keyboard, you can go with headless installation. For this, you have to enable SSH, which lets you connect to your Raspberry Pi's terminal from any other PC in your network. So I will enable it and next. Now verify that you have selected everything right and select right. And yes. And it's done, so I will hit finish. Now you can remove your SD card from the PC, insert it to the Raspberry Pi and start it. I actually use a Raspberry Pi case because it has a small fan, so it can keep your Raspberry Pi cooled down. So after connecting the fan, it will look like this. As you see, it's really handsome. So let's connect it and start installing this bad boy. Now we have to find out the IP address of the Raspberry Pi, because like I said, I don't have a monitor to connect the Raspberry Pi to, so I want to install it using SSH. To find out the IP address of your Raspberry Pi, you just have to install the software called Angry IP Scanner. When you open it the first time, it fills out your network automatically, so you just have to select Start. And here you see, I called my Raspberry Pi Photos before, and it got the IP address 10.23.12.149. So I will just right-click on it and copy the IP. Now let's connect to it using SSH. Just type SSH, the user you created during the installation, add the IP address. And yes, and enter the password. Alright, now I am controlling the Raspberry Pi. You see here the username and the host name. So I will actually clear everything and let's start installing. Now don't worry about typing all these commands. I will put them all in the description box for you. Now let's start by installing the updates. Just type sudo apt update and sudo apt full upgrade. And yes, the Raspberry Pi is now up to date. Now I want to create a folder which I will save image configuration in. So I will type sudo mkdir and give it the option P to create parent folders if they doesn't exist, and I will save the files under opt and the folder image. Now I will move to this folder, so just type cd opt and image. To download the image configuration file, just paste this bad boy and hit enter. Now if I type ls, as you see, the file is here. I also need to download a small environment file where we can save the environment variables, so just paste this command, and here I'm saying save it as .env and enter. Alright, let's clear everything. And now let's actually see what the content of the configuration file is. So type nano, or actually sudo nano, and then the file name, and enter. Alright, let's delete the comments. Alright, so we have multiple services here. We have the image server itself. These parts are in use, and it depends on the Redis and database. And down here we have the second container. It's called image machine learning. Then we have Redis and the Postgre database. You don't have to change anything here, so just type Ctrl-O to save and Ctrl-X to exit. We also have the second file, which is the environment file. It is called .env. And here you can select where you want to save the photos to. Like if you want to save them to an external SSD, you can do all these changes here. Here you can also specify the database password. I will just leave it to Postgre because it's just a testing server. I don't need to change anything here, so I will just save and exit. Now the compose file is ready, but we have to install Docker Compose itself. For this, just paste this command and enter. And Docker is installed. All you have to do now is just paste this command with sudo right here. And this command will create the Docker containers of image. So hit enter. Here you see it's downloading the image of image server itself, the machine learning, and the database right here. It's done installing, so let's find out if it is running already. Just type sudo docker ps. I will make everything a little bit smaller so we can see more clearly. And here it say up 25 seconds, which means it is running. So let's access its web interface, enter the IP address of the Raspberry Pi, and the port 2283. And that's it, image is installed, so click on Getting Started, create your admin user right here, and sign up. Now you have some options to choose. I will go with Awsome for sure. And for language, I will stick with English. Here you have some privacy options, like if you want to enable the map view and the version check. I will leave them on and continue. And here you can select if you want to enable Google Cast, so you can cast your images to your TV or whatever. If you want to auto-organize your photos, you can enable Storage Template Engine, so you can say name photos based on date created and albums and stuff like this. You can experiment with this yourself. I will just stick with the standard one and go to backups. They are recommending to make a backup to your images. And now go to mobile app and done. And welcome to Immich. Now you can just click here and upload some photos. Here I have some thumbnails I have made for my previous video, so I will upload them. Now they are on Immich, and as you can see, the web interface looks really similar to Google Photos. So here you have Explore, so you see all your photos. Here you have a map view, and here you can see the shared photos. I mean, you can share photos with external contacts. Here you have favorites, albums. Here you have some utilities like review duplicates and review large files to make them smaller, manage the location of some photos, and stuff like this. And here you have locked folder, so you can lock some photos with a bin. I will actually show you how an filled up image can look like. Here we have a demo site which the Immich team created. So if we go to explore, as you see, it can detect people. So here we have one of the developers, I think. And Immich can also detect places. So if you say view all, as you see, we have some city names, I think. And the map view can look like this. So as you see, you can zoom to cities and you see which photos were taken in these cities. Forgot something? That like button? Make sure to make it shine. And this is how the smartphone app looks like, so I just downloaded it. Here I will type the URL of my image, and it was using the port 2283, and next. And here I will enter the email, and the password, and login. And as you see, these are the photos I have uploaded before. You can also search for people if you have added some. I mean, this one will get auto-detected in some minutes. Here you have your albums and a library view. You can also configure the smartphone app to auto-backup photos. So to upload photos from your smartphone automatically, you just select Backup Albums here, and then select the folders on the smartphone, which you want to auto-upload to your image. I don't have any photos on the smartphone, that's why no photos are showing. Now Immich is installed, but we haven't finished yet. As you can see, it has an IP address right here. It is a DHCP IP address, which means your Raspberry Pi may get a new IP address after a reboot. And to fix this, you have to make a DHCP reservation on your home router. I will put you a link in the description box on how to do this. I will also put you links for all products I used in this video. And if you want to save your photos on any external SSD, let's say, I will also write you how to do this in the second comment. And that's it for today. Now this bad boy replaces your Google Photos, but don't think it's the only thing it can do, because I showed you in a previous video how to install a password manager on it, or how to install multiple applications on it using Umbrella OS, which has a really nice looking web UI with an app store that lets you select all applications you want to self-host, like your Nextcloud and everything. Then you just click on install and the software is here. I will also link you the video in the description box. Now as always, don't forget to let me know in the comments if you run into any problem, and tell me what you want me to cover the next video. Now thank you for watching, and see you the next time. This is Libre-Data, and you are just getting started.